Most gardeners are, kind of addicted to turning compost piles like it's a badge of honor. They measure temperatures, flip bins every single week, obsess over carbon to nitrogen ratios, and yet they still end up with half-finished material that honestly just ties up nitrogen in their beds. I've done it myself. I've built hot piles that hit 150 degrees Fahrenheit, cooled too fast, went anaerobic, and then just stalled. The real-world consequence isn't just wasted time. It's inconsistent fertility, uneven nutrient release, and soil that frustratingly performs differently every season. I stopped traditional composting because, frankly, I care about results, not rituals. And if you're serious about growing food, not just gardening as a hobby, you'll totally understand why this shift matters. Subscribe to the channel if you want more field-tested strategies like this, because what I'm about to show you works better in raised beds, small backyards, and even integrated systems alongside hydroponics. Here's what I do instead, and honestly, why it outperforms most backyard compost systems. I stopped making compost and started fermenting waste directly and finishing it in the soil. Traditional composting is an oxidative process. You're relying on heat, oxygen, and constant management to break organic matter down. It works, but it's slow, labor-intensive, and really inefficient in small-scale systems. In a 4x8 raised bed setup, you don't need cubic meters of finished compost. You need rapid nutrient cycling in place. Now I use a fermentation-first approach with bokashi-style processing. Kitchen scraps go into a sealed bucket layered with microbial inoculated bran. Instead of rotting, the material ferments anaerobically for about 2 weeks. No turning, no pile management, no temperature monitoring, just controlled microbial dominance. Once fermented, I bury that material directly into empty beds or trenches between rows about 6 to 8 inches deep. I cover it with at least 4 inches of soil. Within another 2 to 3 weeks, soil organisms finish the breakdown. The result is nutrient-dense humus forming exactly where roots will grow. This isn't theory. I've tested side-by-side beds. In one 4x8 bed, I incorporated finished hot compost at about 1 inch depth across the surface, roughly 1 cubic foot total. In the adjacent bed, I buried 2 gallons of fermented kitchen waste every 2 weeks for 6 weeks before planting. The second bed showed stronger early vegetative growth, deeper green leaves, and noticeably thicker stems in crops like tomatoes and kale. The reason is simple. Fermentation preserves more nutrients, especially nitrogen, instead of volatilizing it during high-heat composting. When buried, the soil food web handles the rest in place. This lazy trick actually builds better soil biology. Traditional compost piles often spike in heat and kill off many microbial communities, especially fungi. That's fine if you're sterilizing manure, but most backyard growers aren't working at that scale. In raised beds and container systems, fungal networks matter. When you bury fermented organic matter, you create a slow-release microbial feeding zone. Earthworms move in aggressively. Fungal strands colonize the decomposing material. You're building soil structure from below instead of dumping finished compost on top. In my container fruit trees, I'll take a 20-gallon fabric pot, pull back the mulch, and bury small amounts of fermented material around the outer edge of the root zone, about 3 inches deep and 4 inches away from the trunk. Within weeks, the root density in those zones increases. I've dug back soil to confirm it. Fine feeder roots proliferate exactly where decomposition is happening. That's targeted nutrient placement, not broadcast guessing. You don't need massive piles when you control the microbial process. To make this work consistently, you need strong microbial inoculation. I use a system like the Terraganics EM1 microbial inoculant and EM Premium bokashi bran bundle because it simplifies the process. The bran is already inoculated, so you just layer it with chopped food scraps. I cut scraps into roughly 1-inch pieces to speed fermentation, press out excess air, and seal the bucket tightly. After 2 weeks, the material smells slightly sweet and sour, not rotten. That's lactic acid fermentation. At that point, it's ready to bury. I also dilute the liquid microbial inoculant at about 1 to 100 with water and drench the burial zone after covering it with soil. That accelerates soil integration and prevents any foul odors. If you want to try the exact system I use, the link is in the description. It's not mandatory, but having a consistent microbial starter removes a lot of variability. This method scales better in small gardens. In a compact backyard with 3 raised beds, traditional composting means dedicating space to a pile that may or may not finish on time. With fermentation, you can process food waste indoors in sealed buckets. No flies, no smell, no turning. When a bed finishes a crop cycle, you trench and bury. In a 10 by 10 garden space, that efficiency matters. You're converting waste to fertility continuously, not waiting 3 months for a pile to mature. Even in systems where I run hydroponics for leafy greens, I still use this fermentation approach for the soil beds that grow fruiting crops. The microbial liquid, diluted properly, can also be used cautiously in non-circulating hydro systems to support root zone biology, though you must monitor oxygen levels carefully. I never add it directly into recirculating nutrient reservoirs. There are trade-offs, and you should understand them. If you rely on compost to reduce pathogens in raw manure, high-heat composting still has value. Fermentation does not replace thermophilic composting for sanitation at farm scale, but most backyard growers aren't composting large volumes of manure. Also, you need patience. You cannot plant immediately into freshly buried fermented material. Give it 2 to 3 weeks minimum. In cooler soils, allow 4 weeks. If you rush it, young roots can experience temporary nitrogen immobilization. But once integrated, the soil becomes darker, looser, and more biologically active than with standard top-dressed compost alone.
Mulch replaces turning. Another reason I stopped making traditional compost is because I realized most organic matter can be processed in place under mulch. Instead of building piles, I lay shredded leaves, grass clippings and chopped plant residues directly on beds as a 2 to 3 inch mulch layer. I occasionally spray diluted microbial solution over the surface to accelerate breakdown. Within one growing season, that mulch layer partially decomposes and feeds the soil from above, while fermented material feeds it from below. That dual-direction feeding builds structure faster than periodic compost applications. In clay-heavy soil, this approach improved aggregation within a year. Water infiltration increased, earthworm counts went up. I didn't turn a single compost pile. This is less work and more consistent. The lazy trick isn't about cutting corners, it's about removing unnecessary labor while improving biological efficiency. I no longer monitor pile temperatures. I no longer worry about perfect carbon to nitrogen ratios. I focus on controlled fermentation, strategic burial, consistent mulching, and active microbial populations. If you're growing tomatoes, peppers, fruit trees, or heavy feeders in raised beds, this approach gives you steady nutrient release instead of feast and famine cycles. And if you're managing container systems, small-scale orchards, or intensive backyard production, you'll appreciate not dedicating space and time to turning piles that don't outperform soil-integrated methods. I'll never go back to traditional compost piles for my home garden, not because compost is bad, but because this works better for the scale and intensity most serious growers operate at. If this breakdown challenged what you thought you knew about composting, that's the point. Practical growing is about results, not tradition. Subscribe to the channel for more strategies that improve yield, soil health, and efficiency without adding unnecessary work. Share this with another gardener who's still flipping piles every weekend. Better soil comes from smarter systems, not more labor.